Hey everybody, welcome to 5.2 today. We just finished 5.1 talking about slope-intercept form where we are given a graphed equation and we had to come up with the equation. Okay, so again we are going to do the exact same thing where I'm going to give you a graph line and you're going to come up with an equation, except now you're going to get a different piece of information. Okay, before we use slope-intercept form, today we are going to use point-slope form. All right, so buckle up, let's go. We're going to be using point slope form today to write the equation of a line. So the very first thing I want you to write down is going to be the point slope form. Use this entire, or write down that entire slide and I will explain. All right, so if you look at this, the line with the slope m, we know slope is used with the variable m. So in this equation, y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. M is your slope. Okay, that contains the point x1, y1. And notice if you look at this, you will see x1 and y1 right here. Okay, that's going to be your x coordinate for your x1, and your y1 is going to be your y coordinate. Now you will also notice that there is an x and a y, and those are always going to stay as x and y. Okay, so I'll have that, I'm marking that down in red. These dark letters, x, y, that they're written in black, okay, those will always be y and x. Your x1 and y1 are going to change to your point, but your x and your y never change. Okay, so we'll get into a couple of these. Notice in point slope form, in order for you to write an equation, you need, well, a point and you need a slope. Okay, we talked about slope-intercept form where you need a slope and the intercept. Now we have a slope and a point. Point slope, slope-intercept tells you exactly what you need. This very first one you do not have to do. I'm going to explain this. Now, when we write the equation of a line in point slope form, very first thing is get used to writing point slope form. What is point slope form? It is y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. Okay, so that's point slope form. So now what we are going to do is we are going to plug in the information we know. Well, in this graphed equation, we can see we have our point of negative 2, 4, and we notice our slope is going to be what? We go up 3, we go right 4, so our slope is 3/4. All right, so we have our point of negative 2, 4, our slope of 3/4. Now we plug that in. Again, we keep y, just regular y as y, and we're going to subtract our y coordinate. Okay, so we have our point, negative 2, 4. We're going to plug in this 4 is equal to our m, which is our slope, which is 3/4, times the difference of x, and then we have our x1, which is minus a negative 2. Okay, so when we look at this, notice I just put in the information I know. I put in my coordinate, which is negative 2, 4. You will notice your negative 2 and your 4. And then I put in my slope of 3/4, which goes right where my m is. So now I just put it into point slope form and I'm done. Okay, this is my answer right here. If it asks you to keep it in point slope form, okay, that's point slope form, I am done. My answer, overall answer is y minus 4 is equal to 3/4 times x minus a negative 2. If you wanted to, this would simplify just a little bit. Okay, this would be a great way to do it because remember we add its opposite and we end up with x plus 2. Okay, so I want you to try this next slide, see how you do. It says write the equation of the line in point slope form. That line is supposed to be just slightly over right here. Okay, so my point is going to be negative 2, and it goes as that goes down 1 and right 1. Come up with the point slope form. All right, so now I have a point of 2, -2. What is my slope? M is equal to -1. I go down 1 and I go right 1, so it's -1 over 1. Simplify it as -1. All right, from here, all I'm going to do is plug this into my equation that I know of point slope form. What's point slope form? Y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. All right, now I plug in my point and my slope. Where do I plug in each one? Remember, this y, notice how it has no subscript here. Same thing with my x. That's the one that is permanent. It stays. It doesn't change. Under your y1 and your x1, that's what you change. That's where you plug in your -2 here and your 2 for x. So -2 is equal to our slope times x minus 2, and I'm done. Again, I can simplify here for a final answer of y plus 2 is equal to a -1 times x minus 2. Okay, I don't need to simplify anything else other than keep it in point slope form, and that's what that is, keeping that in point slope form. All right, I want you to do the exact same thing on the next slide. Come up with 3 equations here. You have a slope, you have a point. Now you're going to keep this, write an equation in point slope form that contains, with the given slope, and that contains the given point. So you have a slope, you have a point, put it in point slope form. Give this one a shot. All right, so now I have a slope, I have a point. Again, what is point slope form? It is, and again, memorize this, y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. Okay, as I plug numbers in here, I plug in my m for my slope, my slope for my m, which is m, and here's my x1, y1. And all I'm going to do is just plug them in. Same thing with b. Here's my m, here's my x1, y1. Slope m, x1, y1. Okay, x1 and y1 are always going to be the point, so I'm just going to plug in y minus what's my y1? It is equal to 1. Plug in my slope, which is 1/6, times x minus 5. Done with the first one. That's all I have to do. I don't have to simplify it anymore. Okay, moving on to letter B. Slope. All right, now I have y minus, what's my y1? 3 is equal to my slope, and x minus 0. This one I can simplify a little bit. Okay, I can simplify it to y minus 3 is equal to -4x. That minus 0 doesn't mean anything. So I have y minus 3 is equal to a -4x. Here you can identify the slope and the y coordinate, and the x coordinate actually. Next, again, letter C, I just plug it into my y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1, which is point slope form. So plugging things in, y minus a -4 is equal to 1 times x minus a -1. Can I simplify here? Absolutely. And I can simplify this to y plus 4 is equal to 1x plus 1. Okay, 2 negatives are going to be that positive. Awesome. So here's the equation, and we're done. Point slope form. Awesome. Okay, so now, and you don't have to write this one down. Now it says write an equation in slope-intercept form for the line with slope of 3 that contains -1, 4. Now, we know slope-intercept form from yesterday, and we learned it from chapter 4. What is slope-intercept form? That's going to be your y is equal to mx plus b, right? Where m is your slope, b is your intercept. Okay, now if we look at this equation, we are just given a slope and we are given a point. It doesn't tell me, it says it contains negative 1, 4. It doesn't tell me that negative 1, 4 is going to be my intercept, not to mention we need a 0 for it to be an intercept. So now what we are going to do is I'm going to use point slope form and then solve for slope intercept form. Okay, sounds a little confusing, but let me show you. Okay, so if you look at this, what's my point slope form? If I'm given a slope and I'm given a point, use point slope form. Point slope, use point slope. Okay, y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. Okay, plug all of these in. You have y minus 4 is equal to m, which is 3, times x minus x1, which is negative 1. Now from here, okay, I'm going to solve. I'm just going to solve in slope-intercept form. We know slope-intercept form, we have y equals. I'm going to solve for y. So now y minus 4 is equal to 3 times x plus 1. I'm going to distribute this 3 through first. That's my first step. Y minus 4 is equal to 3x plus 3. I need to get y all by itself. So I'm going to add 4 to both sides. And y is equal to 3x plus 7. Now it's in slope-intercept form. All I did, I plugged my point and my slope into point slope form and solved for y. Okay, solving for y. Don't solve for x. X needs to stay in there, but I solved for y. Notice I get y equals. And that is slope-intercept form. If I asked you what your slope and what your intercept would be, your m would be 3, your b would be 7. Okay, now what I want you to do is I want you to try this next one using the exact same point. Okay, and I want you to plug it into point slope form, solve for y. Okay, so here it is, point slope form. It says write an equation in slope-intercept form for the line with a slope of negative 2 that contains negative 1, 4. So again, you're given a slope, you're given a point, put it into point slope form first, solve for y. Okay, pause now. All right, here we go. What is point slope form? That is y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. Why do I use that equation? Let me know. I can't hear you. Let me know. It's because you have a point and a slope. Point and slope, use point slope form. Okay? So here we go. We're going to plug things in. Y minus 4 is equal to a negative 2 times x minus a negative 1. Okay, I can simplify this a little bit to y minus 4 is equal to a negative 2 times x plus 1. Very first thing I do is distribute that negative 2, not just to the x, but also to this 1. And now I have y minus 4 is equal to a negative 2x plus a negative 2. From here, I need to bring my 4 over so I can solve for y. Add 4 to both sides. Make sure, why don't I add that 4 to that negative 2x? Because 4 is a number. 4 is a number. So my final answer is y is equal to negative 2x plus 2. And I'm done. Okay, I just put it into slope-intercept form. Make sure if you have any questions, let me know. Okay, and I will answer those questions when possible. So, next one. Same idea. Write the equation in slope-intercept form. You don't have to rewrite the directions, just write the slope and the point. Okay? For the line with the slope, 1/3 that contains, and this word that says that contains, that means that -3, 1 is a point on the graph line. Okay, that's a point on the graph line. So I'm given a slope, I'm given a point, plug it into your formula. I'm not going to say anything more. We'll see how you do. All right, so if you look at this, y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. Okay, y minus 1 is equal to 1/3 times x minus a -3. Simplify this out just a little bit. Don't forget my parentheses. Distribute. Okay, so I have y minus 1 is equal to 1/3 x plus, well, 1/3 times 3/1 is equal to 3/3, which is equal to 1. So plus 1. All right, add 1 to both sides. And I now have my final equation of y is equal to 1/3 x plus 2. Whoops, forgot my x in this other equation. Do not forget your x like I just did. Okay, that's something that you should not do. Always keep your x in there. Okay, your x doesn't go away, and this y doesn't go away. Your x1 and y1 get numbers plugged into it, but your x and your y do not. Awesome. If you did not come up with y is equal to 1/3 x plus 2, make sure you call me over right now so I can explain what happened. Okay? Because we do need to put this into slope intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. Okay? Awesome. Here we go. All right. So now this equation, this is the last new problem that you have. You do not have to write this down, but I want to explain this. It says, write in slope-intercept form the equation of the line that is parallel to the given line and passes through the given point. Okay, so now it says write in slope-intercept form. Okay, again, we are given y, we want it in y equals mx plus b. Okay, and we also are given the information of parallel. Well, when we talked about parallel lines in chapter 4, what do we know about parallel lines? Two lines have the same what? Slope. They have the exact same slope. So if we know their slope and we are given a point, can we plug those into an equation? Absolutely. So what we are going to do, we are given a point here on this very first one of 3, 4. What's my slope of a line parallel to y equals 2x minus 11? 2. Okay, so my slope for my parallel line is going to be 2. And the reason behind that is it tells me this slope right here. I look at that line, y equals 2x minus 11, for the slope, because the slopes are going to be the exact same if it is parallel. Okay, if it is parallel, slopes are the same. So now I just do what I did in the last two examples, where I am given a slope, I am given a point, plug it into which formula? Point slope form, and solve. So I'm y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. Okay, again, plugging the numbers in, y minus 4 is equal to 2 times x minus 3. Solving for y now. Okay. And add 4 to both sides. And I'm done. Your slope between the first equation that you are given in this 2x minus 11 should be the exact same as the slope in your new equation of 2x minus 2. Your y-intercept will be different. Your y-intercept will be different. Notice up here it's -11, down here it's -2. Okay, but your slopes will be exactly the same. Exactly the same. Let me do it again on this next one. So y is equal to 1/4 x, and we know that it's going to be parallel to that line. Our new line will be parallel to y is equal to 1/4 x. It's going to go through the point 8, negative 12 though. Okay, so what I do is I plug it into my point slope form. Whoop, forgot the slope, Can't forget the slope. And it ends up looking like and from here, you just simply solve for y. I'm going to come back up here. Solving for y. Y plus 12 is equal to 1/4 x minus 1/4 times 8 is going to be 2. Subtract 12 on both sides. And my answer is y is equal to 1/4 x minus 14. Again, has the exact same slope as the line or as the equation given to me. All right, I want you to go and try these problems. You're going to write it in slope-intercept form. Make sure you write these directions. The equation that is parallel to the given line that passes through the given point. You're given an equation and put it into slope-intercept form, a parallel line to that equation. Give it a shot. Pause now. Alright, so now I am given the equation, which from there I pull out the slope. What's the slope of y equals 3x plus 4? It is 3, so then I use my y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. Plug in my point of negative 4, negative 4. So I now have y minus a negative 4 is equal to 3 times x minus a negative 4. Simplify here, so now I have y plus 4 is equal to 3 times x plus 4. Distribute this 3. Y plus 4 is going to be equal to 3x plus 12. Subtract 4 on both sides. And y is going to equal 3x plus 8. Okay, I took away the slope out of there, put that in my new equation, plugged in my points to my point slope, and I solved for y. Notice this is y is equal to 3x plus 8 is in slope-intercept form. So make sure you put it back into slope-intercept form when as you remember, is y equals mx plus b. Okay, the second one, what's my slope in that equation of y equals half x minus 14? What's the slope? Half. So I plug that into my point slope form because I have my point, I have my slope, plug it in into y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1, which then you plug that in and you get y minus a negative 6 is equal to half times x minus 4. Simplify and distribute. You can do that in the same exact step. So I have y plus 6 is equal to half x minus 2. Half of 4 is 2. Bring that 6 over. And my answer will be y equals half x minus 8. Okay, notice your b or your slope, your intercept, your y-intercept, they will be different. Again, in my first equation, we'll label that 1, label this 2. In my first equation, my slope-intercept, my y-intercept is 14, or my b is 14. In this other one, it is going to be 8. Sorry, negative 14 and negative 8. There's a subtraction sign in front of that. Okay, so that's going to be different, but your slope should always be the same. This half and this half should be the same. That's because they are parallel. Awesome. So here's your homework for today. Again, I want you to know the y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. That is point slope. You have a point and you can figure out the equation of the line and point slope. Slope intercept, when you solve for y, that's going to be your y equals mx plus b. All right, so you need to know both of these, and you need to be able to interchange point slope and solve it for slope intercept form. All right, I hope you enjoyed it. It was a little bit longer, and I apologize for that, but you now can start working on your homework. Thank you. Have a nice day.